WBCB presents Pro Wrestling Weekly,
the longest-running pro wrestling radio talk show in the history of terrestrial radio.
And he's obviously Michael Cole.
Call in with a question or comment at 215-949-3232 or 888-922-2149.
Talking wrestling.
Yeah.
Because that's what this show's about. That's what we've been doing for over 16 years.
No. It's about sports entertainment.
And now here are your hosts of Pro Wrestling Weekly, Fearon Derry and Lucas DeSangro.
Will you stop marking out over there?
Sorry.
Move over, kid. I'm taking your microphone.
You're shallow. You know that?
I'm running on 2 hours of sleep. I don't remember what the hell I do anymore. There's the sound of the bell, and we are set to go. This is Pro Wrestling Weekly here on 1490 WBCB and online at WBCB1490.com. Fearon Derry here with you, alongside, hopefully we'll hear from Lucas a little bit later. He was in the midst of an all-night study session, and he had asked if he could possibly be a little bit late. We are broadcasting live from the MFPW Arena down in Paulsboro, New Jersey, 541 Mantua Avenue. Gearing up for a huge event coming up later tonight. The doors open at 6. The action starts at 7. You'll see Punishment Damian Martinez defending the MFPW Heavyweight Championship against the winner of a match earlier in the night between LSG Leon St. Giovanni and Clutch Adams. Also, new Supersonic champion Mikey Webb will face one of his mentors and rivals, Brian Fury, in one of his final matches, as has been announced. And fresh off of his Turkey Slam Rumble victory, Cody Vance defends the MF Live Championship against Major McClendon. Also, QT Marshall faces Royal Money, and Nick Camarado teams up with Bull James to take on the Beast Cartel's Kyle the Beast and Wildman Congo. Plus, the Money and the Miles defend the MFPW Tag Team Championships against the Amazing Graysons. A whole bunch of stuff going down. It all goes down tonight at the MFPW Arena, 541 Mantua Avenue in Paulsboro, New Jersey. The doors open at 6. The action starts at 7. You can still get tickets both at eventbrite.com as well as at the door. You save a little bit of money by doing so online, though, and make sure to check out the MFPW and all things Monster Factory on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Instagram, plus at monsterfactory.org. Make sure to check out past matches, bios, bloopers, and more at the mfnetwork.com. And a new wrinkle that's being added down here to the Monster Factory and the MF Pro Academy. Not every Friday, but Fridays where there isn't an event that following Saturday, and the whole schedule's up on the MFPW's Facebook page, as well as I believe the Monster Factory LLC Facebook page. But a new concept called Factory Fridays. What's that about, you're probably wondering? Well, It's going to be an 18 and up event. It's going to be a taping for the Monday Night Monsters program that will be airing on the MF Network, and it will be a very interesting and intimate environment in that you will see wrestlers and fans gather around the ring. No seating in this particular thing, and the matches will be up close and personal, and the content is not exactly kid-friendly, or at least it doesn't have the intent to be. So for those who are looking for a more extreme or more of an attitude that you may not have seen in professional wrestling on television over the course of the past decade and a half or so, this might be the thing for you. And it's Fridays starting at 9 p.m., starting this coming Friday, the 16th. And will be on Fridays where there is not a standard family-friendly show as there is one tonight here, that upcoming Saturday. It's a little hard to explain, but all the dates are posted on the MFPW website, as well as the the MFPW Facebook fan page, I should say, as well as the Monster Factory LLC Facebook fan page, among others. So hopefully we'll be having a chat with one of the individuals here from the MFPW as people are going to be making their way in to get into the action here. I know there's quite a few who are lurking around. I tried to get Bender on here for some on-air redemption, but he's actually working on he's following Kevin Nash's advice to CM Punk, taking a shower, hitting the weights, and getting a clue, as the drop so eloquently goes. Taking a look at TLC. this past Sunday. Certainly was a fun event. Had a chance to take a look at that there. And Lucas and I both pretty good on our picks. 5-1 each of us were. The only picks we respectively didn't quite get. Lucas, well, I was going to say the ladies tended to do us wrong, as I'm sure there's a joke there to be made pretty much across the board. Nikki Bella beating Carmella. I had picked Nikki Bella in that no DQ match, whereas Lucas had Carmella. And Alexa Bliss, the new SmackDown Women's Champion, defeating Becky Lynch in the tables match. Lucas had Alexa Bliss, and I had Becky Lynch on that one. So the rest of the picks we went pretty much chalk on. We have new tag team champions in the SmackDown division, courtesy of Randy Orton and Bray Wyatt, winning in just under 6 minutes, beating then champions Heath Slater and Rhino. Also, The Miz retaining his Intercontinental Championship in a great ladder match against Dolph Ziggler. Also, you had a chairs match between Baron Corbin and Kalisto, where Corbin was the winner on that one. Somewhere Chip Kelly is smiling with his big guys beat little guys quote that was famous here in the Philadelphia area before he went over to coach the San Francisco football team. Got to get a little bit of football reference in there, I suppose. 'Tis the season. And finally, AJ Styles defeating Dean Ambrose in a TLC match to retain the WWE Championship with a little help from certainly not a friend that you were expecting, as James Ellsworth made his presence felt, neck brace and all, and looking for his own opportunity to challenge AJ Styles, saying, in fact, that he has AJ Styles' number. So that's considering the various wins that have occurred on SmackDown, I can see how that would make sense there. We'll get into some news and notes over the course of the hour here. Quite a bit to get into, including we'll get into this one right off the bat. And I know that I don't like to talk politics here on the show, but sometimes they kind of weave their way into it. And certainly it looks to be the case in this regard, as U.S. President-elect Donald Trump, and WWE Hall of Famer, plans to give a little rub back to WWE, as he plans to nominate Linda McMahon to head the Small Business Administration. That's according to Reuters.com. Trump stating in the article, quote, "Linda has a tremendous background and is widely recognized as one of the country's top female executives advising businesses around the globe." Meanwhile, McMahon is quoted as saying, "Our small businesses are the largest source of job creation in our country." So there you go. You will see a McMahon at least alongside the White House as part of the pre-selection for President-elect Trump, who will be in office in roughly a month and a half, something like that. That shows you where my lack of knowledge of politics comes in. Something about 6 weeks, I want to say. What is it, the 20th of January? Ted, maybe you can help me out here on this one. Okay. Gotcha, January 20th. Yeah, I remember some of this stuff from elementary school, or maybe it was middle school. I don't know. It was so long ago, probably longer ago than I need to remember. This is why I don't talk politics, because I don't know about it. Usually that's reserved for somebody else who's on here from noon to 1, during the weekdays, perhaps. Indeed. So we've got that to talk about. We've got an Extreme and WWE favorite who announced that he's going to be returning to WWE in 2017. We'll get into who that is coming up here in the hour. Also, the WWE Network schedule not listing a longtime staple in the schedule listing. So a bit of a change there. We'll tell you what might have been stricken from the scheduling records. And also, we'll let you know who is no longer apparently with WWE based on a report that's going on here. A name that you're very familiar with, and a Hall of Famer as well. Also, some not good news on an independent wrestler who I've gotten to at least become a little bit familiar with. And in the interest of not wanting to show any kind of favoritism, I'm going to bring that story to you. Also, this coming week is WWE Holiday Week on the USA Network. We'll tell you what's on the program, or what's programmed on the network, I should say, over the course of the week in this hour. And also a major record about to possibly be broken in WWE. I'll let you know which one that is and who might be doing it based on some possible hurdles to jump over the course of the next couple of days. And finally, well, John Cena, as we had mentioned last week, he's going to be on Saturday Night Live tonight. I can only imagine what what's going to entail from that, and who knows what other WWE involvement there will be. Tweets coming in fast and furious here. Actually, Bull James making note here. Let's see. Today I have a seminar at Monster Factory, followed up by their show tonight. Then I head to Bayville, New Jersey later tonight. And also Brian Fury tweeting 5 shows in 7 days, then it's over. And he tags the Monster Factory, Beyond Wrestling, the official XWA, and Chaotic Wrestling. Brian Fury, of course, a trainer of Mikey Webb, the current Supersonic champion and 4-time Supersonic champion here at the MFPW. In the midst of his reign that started at Turkey Slam after that great Iron Man match between him and LSG, Leon St. Giovanni. They went 60 minutes. Unbelievable. That's an amazing accomplishment, to say the least. So all that, plus we've got our usual staples of today in wrestling history. We've got the birthdays. We've got our that's right. I should probably let you know about this because that's coming up a little later this afternoon as well. Today's the day for another wrestler appearance at George's Cards and Collectibles. That's right. Today, December 10th from 2 to 4 p.m. Former WWE and TNA star Mr. Kennedy, or Mr. Anderson, however you prefer to know and keep him in your mindset there. He'll be at George's Neshaminy Mall store. That's this afternoon from 2 to 4 p.m. And that's at the George's Cards and Collectibles at the Neshaminy Mall in Bensalem, Pennsylvania. George's has 3 locations for all of your cards and collectibles needs, including their original store at 7755 New Falls Road in Levittown, as well as in the Willow Grove Park Mall on the 2nd level near Macy's and Tivana, and in the Neshaminy Mall in the movie theater wing. For more information, go to georgescollectibles.com and follow George's Cards and Collectibles on Facebook. Looking forward to whatever else they may have in 2017. It's been a while since I've been able to get over there, and that's because usually these sessions tend to interact or intercede or something along those lines with what all is with my commitments here to the MFPW. So it's difficult to be in 2 places at the same time. In fact, if there's anybody who knows how to do that, by all means, feel free to drop me a line and let me know exactly how all that works. Anyway, we're going to take our first time out. We'll go to the station here as Plunkett the Ogre has just made his way in here, and we'll see if we can maybe get a word with him on the other side. But for now, we'll head back to the studio here. This is Pro Wrestling Weekly here on 1490 WBCB and online at WBCB1490.com.
Just asset. Tune in to St. Mary Healthline, presented by Gwynedd Mercy University, every Wednesday at 9 a.m. for advice on how to better manage your health. You will hear about important medical issues from the doctors and professionals across all service lines from St. Mary Medical Center. You will have the opportunity to talk or email your questions each week to the experts who can help you live a healthier lifestyle. St. Mary Healthline, presented by Gwynedd Mercy University, every Wednesday at 9 a.m. It's your health. Expect more.
Are you curious what old antiques, collectibles, or household contents are worth? Listen Friday mornings from 9 to 10 a.m. for What's It Worth with Mike the Appraiser, right here on 1490 WBCB.
Life is full of challenges, but AARP Pennsylvania can make them less overwhelming through its legacy of caring and helping people realize new possibilities. Because when caring starts, possibilities never stop. And when everyone reaches their full potential, society reaches their full potential. It's another way AARP Pennsylvania works to make life better for all. AARP Pennsylvania, real possibilities. Go to aarp.org/PA to see how you can help AARP Pennsylvania make a difference. Real Possibilities is a trademark of AARP.
You won't see termites crawling across your floor, but thousands might be devouring the wood in your walls, weakening the structure of your home. For over 50 years, termite proofing and pest control of the Delaware Valley has been in the exterminating business. If you think you have a pest problem, they're the experts. Call them today at 215-639-5455. That's 215-639-5455 for TPPC. Termite proofing and pest control of the Delaware Valley gives your home or business peace of mind, knowing your pest problem is in their hands. Located at 1560 Bristol Pike in Bensalem, they use only EPA-approved material applied by licensed technicians. Call Termite Proofing and Pest Control of the Delaware Valley at 215-639-5455.
Pro Wrestling Weekly presents Today in Wrestling History, December 10.
On this date in 2000, the WWF held its Armageddon pay-per-view. In the main event, Kurt Angle defeated Steve Austin, The Rock, The Undertaker, Triple H, and Rikishi in a six-man Hell in a Cell match to retain the WWF World Heavyweight Championship. On this date in 2001, WWF Monday Night Raw aired live from Anaheim, California. In the main event, Chris Jericho defeated Steve Austin in a steel cage match to retain the Undisputed Championship. On this date in 2003, the NWA TNA held its weekly pay-per-view number 73. In the main event, AJ Styles and D'Lo Brown defeated Jeff Jarrett and Kid Cash in a tag team match. On this date in 2006, TNA held its Turning Point pay-per-view. In the main event, Samoa Joe defeated Kurt Angle by submission. On this date in 2007, WWE Monday Night Raw aired live from Bridgeport, Connecticut. In the main event, Mr. Kennedy defeated Marty Jannetty. This has been Today in Wrestling History, December 10. On 1490 WBCB and online at WBCB1490.com. Fearon Derry here with you, bringing you Today in Wrestling History a little early, but what can I say? Shaking things up a little bit. Plus, a lot of fun stuff in there as far as historical aspects there between, the Armageddon pay-per-view. I still remember that six-man Hell in a Cell match, and I think even then I was wondering, Rikishi, what's he doing in there? It's almost like one of these things are not like the other in an odd sense, but they somehow made it work. At least they tried to at that particular point. Also, the Undisputed Championship being defended on Raw 15 years ago today, and the Turning Point pay-per-view from a decade ago. That was Kurt Angle's big debut at that point. And, of course, Mr. Kennedy and Marty Jannetty as he was feuding with Shawn Michaels at that point in 2007. Just some interesting and fun things going on here. Fearon Derry here with you. We are live at the MFPW Arena, gearing up for a huge event later tonight. And joining me here at the table here, don't worry, the headphones won't bite. You just kind of put them on like normal headphones and then bring the microphone down there. We've got certainly a notable voice or a new voice here from not too long ago, somebody we've seen a little bit here. We've got Rocco here, not to be confused with the brief mascot of the Legion of Doom of the same name.
Oh, no, I'm much bigger than that guy. Oh, I can hear my voice now. This is so nice.
There you go.
I usually get so jealous of everybody because you all get to hear my voice, and I just don't because, I'm talking to you. I love the sound of my own voice, so this is nice. It's a nice little treat for me.
It is.
It's beautiful. I like this a lot. So how you doing today, buddy?
I'm doing all right. We're broadcasting here on WBCB Radio and having just kind of talking wrestling as we do. This is the longest running pro wrestling radio talk show in the history of AM/FM radio. Been on the air almost 18 years.
Oh, congratulations. That's very nice. It's very nice. I love talking wrestling. What you talking about then?
Well, we're talking all kinds of stuff here. I mean, in the last segment we were talking about, even though this is kind of it's wrestling related, but kind of in a bigger scope. But Linda McMahon being nominated to Donald Trump's Small Business Administration.
I did see that. I did look at that, yes.
We'll get into some other news and kind of reactions and things like that. Yoshihiro Tajiri, somebody you're probably familiar with over the years.
Oh, yeah, terrifying, yeah.
Well, he announced via Twitter that he's going to be returning to WWE in 2017.
Oh, perfect. It's always good to see him. I remember him back, and he was the most terrifying thing that came out of ECW, in my opinion. He's this little guy, but, that face.
It was the face. It was the mist that he would spit out.
If anybody in that roster I thought was going to kill me, it'd be him. Tommy Dreamer beat me up, but Tajiri, that was some serial killer quality there.
Wait, Tommy Dreamer beat you up? Tell us a little bit more about that.
No, he would.
He would. I thought he actually did. I was like, wait a minute. What's? No. I didn't want to have you recollect any any bad memories here.
No, I've never met any of these people, but if I did, holy crow.
But yes, he noted that he got the okay from William Regal to make the announcement and said that his final date in Japan will be December 27th. And for those I'm sure who you remember earlier this year, Tajiri was in the Cruiserweight Classic. And one would think that he would likely be a regular in the Cruiserweight division as well as on the 205 Live show. Because there's been a lot of that. You've seen that with the Brian Kendrick coming back.
Oh, absolutely.
A lot of mix of people who have been around for quite a while and some new fresh faces as well.
I've only seen a bit of the 205. I watch the NXT a lot. It's hard for me in the middle of the week to watch that much programming. I wish I could. But yeah,
That's an interesting thing. Do you think that there's almost too much of a good thing going on as far as, I mean, primarily WWE, but wrestling programming in general, just because there's so much out there that, I mean, it's, I guess, a matter of balancing number of hours in the day versus, versus available content.
I just think they got to get a good balance with it. I think that's very good for the indie wrestling scene in general, that there's just so much out there available now, especially you can stream stuff on the internet too. And there's a lot of different ways you can consume wrestling nowadays. I think the WWE Network itself, I think that's a really good thing they got going on. I think they need to get off of network television completely, in my opinion, because with cable cutters out there, I'm a cable cutter. I think satellite cable, that's the stupidest thing they got going on right now, because it's way too much money for just you're not watching enough. You don't watch as many channels as they advertise on there. And I think if they pulled all their programming onto the WWE Network, it would be a huge boon for them. But the problem is, they're getting multi-million-dollar contracts.
The ad revenue, yeah.
So it's tough right now because they're making money hand over fist by being on cable and satellite there. But if they can just pull everything to their own network, because I watched the pay-per-views, I watched the NXT, the Cruiserweight Classic tournament. I was big into that when that was out there. I think the WWE Network with their own streaming thing, and it really, it's almost kind of like back it was like in the territory days where you have all these different, they could have like all these different programs on any given night, and I always thought like if they had NXT as their own specific territory, then they do the Cruiserweights their own kind of territory with it, and the whole WWE, and you have all these different brands kind of coming together, and now WWE kind of owns all of it.
I guess the problem is, how do you showcase it without it being too much? Because, I mean, how can you, I guess even the most diehard of wrestling fans be able to deal with, let's say on a pay-per-view week, you've got the pay-per-view on Sunday night, and you've got 3 hours of Raw on Monday, 2 hours of SmackDown Live on Tuesday, and then 205 Live immediately after that on the network, NXT on Wednesday. I mean, at some point, how much is too much?
Well, first of all, maybe we don't need 3 hours of Raw on Monday. Maybe that's a little too much, as it is. It's, especially one of the things that did turn me off to Raw, like when I was watching religiously, is a lot of it was talking. It's just talking. And I'm a big talker. I'm a big fan of talking. But you turn in, you want to see wrestling, and in the first 45 minutes of some shows, it's just people flooding the ring and on microphones. It's like, well, where's the action?
What happened to the wrestling? Yeah,
I want to see people beating each other up, and they're just in there on the microphones, and it just kind of takes it away and ruins it for me. But I think having completely separate brands, I think it's going to help. I think the brand split's really going to help it out because you're not seeing the same guys every night. I think that helps.
It reduces some of the oversaturation as far as the individuals, even though it's kind of still detracting from the issue of having the oversaturation. To give you an idea, the NFL's running into that a little bit because, I mean, before it was just you had football on Sunday and then the one Monday night game, but now you've got the Thursday night game, you've got some Saturday games coming up as well, and I think a lot of people are starting to tune out just because there's, again, too much of a good thing.
And the thing is, I think the NFL and the WWE are going to run into similar problems because people are changing the way they consume their media. Like if you look back in the 70s when Monday Night Football was starting out, it was a big thing. This was a big event. This Monday night, you had 3 channels. This is, one of the things you're going to watch. It was a big family-oriented thing. But nowadays, I think Monday Night Football's run its course because there's so many different options that everybody has. It's not the big event anymore because on Monday night, you can do virtually hundreds of other things. Whereas
whether it's watch wrestling, you could. I mean, you mentioned how many different cable channels there are, and I mean, not everybody's necessarily into that. If they're a hockey fan, and there's now an NHL network, because I mean, they could be watching that. If they're a basketball fan, I mean, there's an NBA network. I mean, Major League Baseball, even in the off season, they have if they're putting up a rerun of the World Series from like Game 5 from '89, where they had the earthquake or whatever the case may be, or was it Game 4? I don't know. I was 8 years old. I don't remember. But I mean, some of those like classic moments. I mean, maybe you'll want to tune into that for some nostalgia. So, I mean, the options are so much greater now than they were even really 10 years ago, let alone 20, 30, 40 years ago in the case of Monday Night Football.
And I think what WWE is doing is really smart now because they're testing the waters for how we're consuming their product, really. And the NFL hasn't got a grasp on that yet. The NFL dominate Sunday. You know, they own Sunday. They should focus on owning Sunday. Whereas WWE, they're branching out. They did their own original programming. Okay, that's hit or miss. You know, I know some people like the shows on there. I watched the WWE camp stuff. That was kind of funny.
Oh, the Camp WWE.
Oh, that was
yeah.
hilarious. That was good stuff. But you know, they have the NXT, they have the 205, and out there, and I think if what I would like to see them do is kind of put those programs out there in the middle of the day. So you've got NXT and that airs at 8 o'clock at night. You know, how about you air it like at noon? Because I'm gonna go there and I'm gonna watch it whenever I want to watch it. So now I can watch it all day long. So I think that might be the next step of the evolution. Because if you're gonna watch wrestling, when are you gonna watch it? They focus on the primetime slot. But nobody cares about primetime slots anymore because we consume it when we want to consume it. You know, if you're going to sit down, you're going to go on a wrestling binge of 5 hours, like a Netflix binge, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's the next step, is just making the product available to people whenever they choose to go see it. So,
well, and I think they're working on that. I mean, once it's available, you know, a lot after that live broadcast, and it is archived on the network. I think the issue is that balance of a live must-see event versus a particular time slot. I mean, if they do it, let's say, live at noon, I mean, how many people are going to go to a particular arena at noon unless this is where the global aspect comes in, and maybe for what is noon Eastern, if they're, let's say, in, oh gosh, I don't know, in Germany, for example, which is 6 hours ahead, that'd be a 6 p.m., 6 p.m. local time for them, which would be noon for us here. And they've done a little bit of that with the Beast in the East broadcast from Japan, for example, where it was local for them. But, I mean, for other people, we had to get up at, 5:30 in the morning Eastern time. And for those, let's say, on the West Coast, it was basically before they almost went to bed at night.
And if you can do live programming, that's a different thing. So the 205, that's live.
Mm-hmm.
After,
yeah, the 205, that's the 205 Live's right after SmackDown Live.
But like for NXT, it's currently not live. That's taped. I mean, you can make that available whenever. You can do that during the day, and then I can go consume that whenever I want to. If you're gonna do live programming, that is a little bit different though. But and the thing is though, even if they did have a different brand every night of the week, I think that would also kind of cater into it, because WWE Network, they don't care what you watch as long as you're getting the network. As long as you have subscription, that's the goal for them. And until they do like different kind of pricing schemes for what, I think that's how they should do it. Like, you go in different, like, brand their pricing in different levels and offer different levels of consumption to different consumers based on their need and whatever. But that'll come over time. This is a brand new thing, and I think they have worlds of potential for that. But even if they did do a different brand every night, then you can pick and choose which brand you want to watch, and that's really good as a consumer.
For WWE, it's a win because they've got your money regardless. I mean, once you buy that that network subscription, then that's already in there. And what you opt to watch or not watch is.
And the benefits to wrestling as a whole is all these indie wrestlers are going to get called up then, because if they're going to do 4 or 5 different brands on their own show, you know, they got to get talent from somewhere. And so that next level gets called up. And so all these other indies and stuff like that, they're going to have new talent coming through and a lot more exposure out there for a lot more people. And they're not going to stay in WWE for forever. Mm-hmm. So when they come back out of that, they're going to be able to go back out.
They'll be showcased.
Yeah, and go into the local indie scenes, and the local indie scene will benefit and thrive from that because, I know that guy.
Mm-hmm. I saw him on the network. Right. I mean, we've seen a little bit of that here with, to use an example, with the Cruiserweight Classic. One of our students here, Anthony Bennett, was one of the 32 that was in the Cruiserweight Classic field.
Oh yeah, is it that goofy little thing with the 2-color glasses?
And the high top fade and the whole deal. Yep.
That was amazing. I like that. I was a big fan of that.
I mean, he was probably one of the more established characters of the 32 in the field. I mean, there were a lot of more notable names per se, but I mean, as far as having some sort of character and personality, that's another aspect which I think is kind of detracting a little bit from it was from the Cruiserweight Classic as well as the 205 Live, is that you need to kind of get behind like who these people are, so that way people aren't thinking, oh, okay, it's the weekly gymnastics routine. Because I think a lot of people tend to look at the Cruiserweight division of the 205 Live division as essentially just a bunch of guys doing flips.
And I think that was kind of a fault to the way they wanted to set it up. And I didn't have a problem with it. They tried to do a different spin on that, in my opinion. They tried to do no face, no heel. And if you're going to do that, then the whole the character doesn't come out as much because you can do that like little things like I think Drew Gulak he was a bit of a jerk in there. You saw that Brian Kendrick obviously he's total jerk, digging on what they were doing, but there was more of an honorable kind of contest type of thing. I think that's what they
were going more for the traditional competitive nature, but the counterbalance to that is where how do you as a fan pick somebody to invest in unless you're just kind of going for I like that person because they do this move,
right? And I think another big thing they had was the different nationalities there too, right? So you did
so it was a global affair as well.
So it's like I associate with this country or the Bollywood boys. You got fans from India. Like okay, I'm gonna love those guys. Regardless of whether they're face or heel, and that might be another reason why they try to stray away from that. So if you
that national or international pride, I suppose.
Like that scary-looking Japanese guy. I can't think of his name right now. I forget. Not
Tajiri,
not
but
Tajiri, the other one. He was super good. Yeah, but yeah. So if you try to trend him towards face or heel, you could alienate the culture of people that you're trying to drag in and say, okay, he's our guy. I'm going to back him. With the 205 now, I think they can kind of branch out more into that because now this is an actual show as opposed to what they were trying to do with the whole tournament build-up. And I think like the Dusty Classic will probably be like a similar kind of ilk to that, where the face-heel thing doesn't matter as so much in that tournament, where it's just because you're competing for the cup, and that's kind of what the focus needs to be.
That's where the focus is at, exactly. Chiming in, I got a text from my co-host Lucas, who is finally stirring here. He's he first mentioned as far as a cruiserweight with character Jack Gallagher.
Oh, I love Jack Gallagher. Oh my God, he's so good.
and
good.
And to whom you were referring to Akira Tozawa.
Yes, Akira Tozawa. Yes, he was terrifying, and but even though they didn't do like face heel stuff like that, there were little guys like that, like Tozawa. He came off as totally terrifying to me, and so there, even though there wasn't that drastic of a swing there was still that the little things you can like there. And Jack Gallagher, the way because I don't watch a lot of the international style and the catch can. I think
catch can, yeah.
And so like I'm a big fan of William Regal, but I never really watched like a film of him during the day. I kind of saw him in later stages when he was in WWE. But watching Jack Gallagher do his thing, oh my God!
There's been a huge groundswell as far as the British wrestling style, and there's been a lot of following of that, and that's kind of started to come up in the ranks as over the past 25 years you've seen with Japan, with Mexico.
Right.
Yeah, I mean now the UK is kind of getting more of a spotlight that people probably wouldn't have otherwise seen. It's not like there haven't been British wrestlers over the years who have been around. They're just for, I guess, the lack of international ability to be, exposure. They just haven't, you haven't been able to see the product in their particular countries.
And just watching him work, though, like Gallagher in specific, everything means something. Like a wrist lock, it means something. A headlock means something. And just the way he's just so fluid and so smooth, the way he moves in and out of things. And even Zack Sabre, is watching them kind of set up into different submission holds and different locks and stuff like that. And how you can appreciate, okay, what they've done to get to that point. So this guy's he's going to be out of it for at least 5 or 10 seconds. So I have time to take my time and put him in this move that's really going to hurt him, and just kind of wrap him up like a freaking pretzel, There's
a lot of psychology with it, absolutely.
And just watching that, it's especially the different style, it's just so refreshing too, because I think this might be similar to what happened with the cruiserweights. When the cruiserweights came into WCW, that whole Mexican style was introduced to
the household names in '95. I mean, until then, you had no idea who Rey Mysterio was, who Juventud Guerrera was, Eddie Guerrero, Chris Jericho, Dean Malenko. Right. I mean, prior to that, you had no idea.
And before then, it was just the biggest guys you can get, except Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels kind of broke that a little bit because they're small guys that can move around, but they weren't moving around like cruiserweights. Shawn Michaels.
They had agility, but it wasn't. This is a completely different realm. You saw that. I mean, over the course of the mid '90s.
Right, and it's a big reason I really want to get into Lucha Underground, but I'm terrible. I have not watched that yet. Have you watched any of that?
I can't say that I have. I mean, it's the same thing we were discussing. It's a matter of, so much product out there, and so, there's only 168 hours in a week.
But see, I think what they're doing is beautiful because they're taking in wrestling, they're putting a whole different spin on it. And if you put different spins on different things, it's like what we're talking about with the NXT and the 205 and Lucha and what they're doing. And even Matt Hardy with what he's doing with the whole deletion thing. Like, when you just taking things out of left field and putting different spins, it makes it fresh. It makes it original. And I think that was a big problem with WWE had for a while. Like, I'm a huge John Cena fan. I think he's, bar none, the best in the business. But people get sick of seeing that over and over again. Like, the LOL Cena wins. And it's just, and the people, they get sick of seeing him come out on top every day. And I didn't mind it because I think...
it's understandable.
But and so I think that's where they need to stray away from. And if you're completely like you got Shinsuke, I love Shinsuke, he's amazing. So, and he's got the belt down in NXT there, and he's doing his thing. And now you got AJ Styles doing his thing and SmackDown, and you got Kevin Owens, doing his thing on Raw. And all three of those guys are fantastic, and just they got the belts and they can run with it. And you're setting up with really good feuds now, but then newer feuds that we haven't seen before. And it's just keeping it fresh. It's keeping it. So I think once they get a better handle on developing, because the problem is with all this different wrestling, you got to develop a whole bunch of new characters, a whole bunch of new feuds, a whole bunch of new rivalries. Mm-hmm. But they do have some of their top talent in place, and I think they can go places with that.
Yeah, I'm sure if even 5 years ago somebody had said, not only are these three guys going to be in WWE, but they're going to be champions here, and you've heard, Kevin Steen, AJ Styles, and Shinsuke Nakamura, somebody would have said, wait, you got to be out of your mind. So it's amazing how things kind of come across here.
Right. Kevin Steen or Owens, what do you want me to call him?
I mean, it's 6 of one, half dozen the other.
Okay.
I mean, but yeah, before we go into that whole, I was gonna say we're up against it as far as taking another time out here. But before we head on out here, Rocco, I was gonna say put a little bit of yourself over here. I know you've been putting everybody else over, but this is your shine now.
My shine. I just, I'm a manager, right? So it's my job to put other people over. So if I'm not putting other people over, what am I doing?
Well, I mean, so you got to take some of the credit for yourself, right?
I'll take as much credit as I can, So I don't know. I usually like to, I don't know. How do you want me to put myself over here?
I don't know. I mean, is there social media that you can be followed on? I mean, if people like the sound of your voice and want to hear more of your thoughts, that would be a good place to do so.
Like the sound of my voice. Who wouldn't hear my thoughts? I don't really have a home fed back at home that I do. Unless Monster Factory is pretty much what I'm working out of right now. So if you want to come see me, come down to the Monster Factory.
There you go. Come on down tonight and.
I don't know what Mr. Cage is going to have me doing per se, but I will be. Hopefully, I'll be out there with a microphone and making you
doing what you do,
making you guys mad and making you guys irritable, and that's honestly that's one of my favorite things to do is just get in the ring and just get that reaction out of people and. It's something. It's kind of an art form for me. Every word I pick in a promo, it's just how is this going to affect people? How is that going to sound on there? And the goal at the end of the night is to get you to remember me. They remember me in some way, some fashion. Now you're not going to remember me over like the main event is because these guys work their ass off, And they, can I say that?
Yeah, you're
okay.
Good.
Okay, I don't know. It's I mean, so yeah, I don't want you to remember me over those guys and say what they do because they're fantastic at what they do in the ring. But I want you to remember, okay, that guy was a jerk, and so everything I go into it, that goes right into that. And I'm excited to be here, excited to get out there in front of these people and do my thing.
Most certainly. Talking is an art, and we have a Picasso next to me here. And meanwhile, after 8.5 years in radio, I'm still paint by numbers. So.
As long as you get all the colors in the right spot, you're good. So
there we go.
You've got to get the key there. Forest green. Don't.
Mm-hmm. Well, Lucas is more the artsy one, so he's the one who helps me out with that. He was unable to be. He's been texting to chime in here. He should be joining us.
Well, you said he just rolled out of bed, right?
I don't know about that. I'm sure he'll end up giving me the text update on how exactly that all went down during the timeout here, but we're definitely late for it, so we got to make our way. Rocco, thank you so much for joining us here.
Thank you for having me.
Appreciate you being here on Pro Wrestling Weekly, and we're gonna head back to the studio, take it to Ted Efaw to take care of our last time out. We'll come back with a little more news and notes and some other fun stuff here on Pro Wrestling Weekly on 1490 WBCB and online at WBCB1490.com.
I have a house. Not really sure when it was built. what kind of heating system it has, or where the fuse box is located. I don't even know what a fuse box is, frankly. I do know that my house is tan, and Pico can help me save energy and money.
You don't have to be an expert, because Pico has lots of ways to help you save energy and money. Just call 888-5-PICO-SAVE or visit pico.com/smartideas. Pico, the future is on.
Hi, this is Smiling Lou Powers, here to invite you to join us every Wednesday as we broadcast Sunshine Music Memories live from the Philadelphia Protestant home in the Northeast. We'll be playing the music that you remember in a setting you will love. Philadelphia Protestant home is located at 6500 Tabor Road in the Northeast. And Gate Martini and I will be there live every Wednesday, 10 a.m. till noon. Come out and listen, dance, and make some new friends. Sunshine Music Memories live from the Philadelphia Protestant home every Wednesday at 10 a.m.
All commentators heard on WBCB express their own views. Their opinions are not necessarily those of others on WBCB, including the staff and management.
Hi, this is Governor Tom Wolf. Thousands of families across Pennsylvania have been affected by the opioid epidemic. Together, we can fight this disease. If you or someone you know is struggling with addiction, help is available. Visit pa.gov/opioids for resources and information on substance abuse. For treatment options, call 1-800-662-HELP.
Brought to you by the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. Tom Wolf, Governor. Paid for with Pennsylvania taxpayer dollars.
He's got the Luigi death stare from Fearon, so he might have...
I didn't give you the Luigi death stare. That's not true.
You're breaking kayfabe.
Breaking kayfabe. Gonna break something else during this commercial.
There we go. That's what I like to see.
And now, more Pro Wrestling Weekly with your hosts, Fearon Derry and Lucas DeSangro.
Are we getting into that controversy again?
I know how it feels, and it's not fun.
Welcome back to Pro Wrestling Weekly here on 1490 WBCB and online at WBCB1490.com. Fearon Derry here with you. We are live at the MFPW Arena with a litany of folks making their way in here. Chad Kensington of Paid in Full. He's gearing up for who knows what tonight. Gearing would certainly be an understatement in that regard. Plunkett the Ogre here with us in rapid fashion here. Okay. Well... I was going to say, you have the headset microphone, then you also pull the other microphone in front of you, so you can go one or the other. It's I was going to say you can make that prerogative and choice. I'm not about to tell you what to do.
Well, it is an impressively sized microphone.
We'll certainly leave it at that. The hour's just flying quickly by here. With Rocco and yourself chiming in here, we'll kind of do some rapid fire news and notes across the way here, and we'll get into what all's going on with you as well, as you've certainly been impressive the last few outings here since we last had you on here at the MFPW Arena. Some things of note here: the WWE Network schedule no longer listing the Raw or SmackDown pre-shows. There's been no official announcement regarding it, but it looks like it's just kind of taken off there, and coinciding with that, Lita apparently is no longer with WWE, according to good old JR. He wrote on his Twitter page that he spoke with Lita, and she told him that she's no longer with the company, and she was on the Raw and SmackDown pre-show broadcast. Those appear to have been scrapped and are now replaced by 10-minute pre-shows featuring Charlie Caruso and Booker T for Raw, as well as Booker T and Renee Young for SmackDown.
Well, with Lita leaving, was the only thing she was doing with WWE those pre-shows?
I think so, and just kind of having like the Hall of Fame. I mean, I don't know if she had a Legends deal on top of it, or if it was just for the broadcast with the network.
Well, I mean, if the pre-show was the only thing she was doing, then I could see, hey, we got rid of that. We don't really have anything for you. And I'm sure, I would hope that it was a amicable parting, and that if they have something for her in the future, like some sort of return for one night with a match with Charlotte at WrestleMania or something like that.
Oh, that would be interesting.
If that actually was the plan, WWE, I'm very sorry that I just spoiled that. That's literally just me throwing a random idea out there.
Well, if they hadn't thought of it, maybe they will now that they've heard it. So the pendulum can go either way on that.
I mean, I think that would certainly be interesting. As far as the Raw and SmackDown pre-shows, I don't really know of anybody who watched them. I mean, I don't know if there is a system that the network has in place to track ratings and who's watching
viewership on various programs.
So, I mean, it may just be
probably with
possible
servers or something like that. I don't know. That's a little more technological than I'm capable of figuring out.
Yeah, I mean, and that's certainly not information that I'm privy to either. But if it's something that people aren't watching or weren't really watching, then it's understandable if they would say, well, okay, let's move in a different direction. Let's do something else with the streaming time that we have in that slot.
Should be interesting. I mean, speaking of time slots, a lot of the time slots on the USA Network being made for WWE Holiday Week coming up, including Raw on Monday from the Wells Fargo Center here in Philadelphia, or in the Philadelphia area, but in this case it's in Philadelphia. We just broadcast to the Philadelphia area, at least locally, and then we have the all-online thing where you can hear from anywhere in the world. Tuesday brings a triple header of movies from the featuring The Rock, including Faster, G.I. Joe Retaliation, and The Other Guys, and then that triple header will be leading into SmackDown Live. And then after SmackDown Live, a new episode of the USA Network's original series Shooter, featuring Randy Orton in a guest starring role. So a very jam-packed Tuesday, and then Wednesday is the 14th annual Tribute to the Troops special.
There's going to be a lot of programming for people to watch that week.
Yeah, exactly. There's a lot of programming in general, and yeah, just a lot to take in without question. Something else to take in that'll be interesting, if the New Day are able to successfully defend their Raw tag titles on Monday, then they are poised to break the record for the longest tag team title reign in WWE history.
So then the question is, you personally, do you want to see them do it?
I don't know. I mean, the previous record holder was, or the current record holder at the moment, I'm getting a little ahead of myself, is Demolition, as they held the belts from March of 88 when they won them at WrestleMania 4 through July of 89 when they lost them to the Brainbusters at Saturday night's main event, I believe. I don't know. It's... I may have to. I'm kind of leaning towards sure, why not? I mean, records are made to be broken.
Yeah, and I think it's something that, it's always cool to see history made in our lifetime. Like, as great as it is to look back and say, oh, this, Demolition, they were such a prolific tag team. They held the belts for this amount of time, to then say, oh, well, that record was finally broken and we got to see it. We got to see that tag team. And, not only do we get to see them, but we got to see them first come together. We got to see what Big E, Kofi, and Xavier Woods were doing before they all came together. We got to see them evolve. We got to see them be obnoxious bad guys. We then got to see the fans get behind them because fans love getting behind obnoxious bad guys.
Yeah, it's amazing how that works.
And then to see them, have the belts, defend them against, everyone from
all comers,
the Dudley Boys, newer tag teams, Gallows and Anderson. I think that's, I think that's something that's really cool for wrestling fans to see anytime history is made. And then also you now have this new vehicle, this is sort of an extreme example, but for years people talked about the streak. Who was going to break the streak? When was the streak going to be broken? And we always talked about how if and when it happened, it was going to be this huge vehicle for whoever they gave that spot to. Well, on a smaller scale, you now do that. You now have a record-length tag team title reign. It's the New Day. They are the record holders in all of WWE history for the longest tag team title reign. Who's going to finally beat them? Who's going to finally beat them?
Yeah.
And that gives you the perfect vehicle to maybe even bring a team up from NXT, bring the Revival up, bring Gargano and Ciampa up, have them come up, have them challenge, have them win the belts, and then it's, these are the guys who beat the historic reign and
they were the guys who beat the guys, basically.
Yeah. And that gives any new team instant credibility, or if you do it to an existing team, that suddenly makes them,
that much more credible.
Yeah, it makes them, a much bigger player in the tag team scene.
Most certainly. And I was going to say a couple minutes to get a lot of different things in. So I'm going to kind of rapid fire here. Unfortunately, some unfortunate news from the independent scene. Colby Carino. It's like grimace there. Unfortunately, this past Saturday, arrested for possession of a controlled substance in Hamilton County, Tennessee, according to ProWrestlingSheet.com. Currently, I was going to say, I believe he was set to go to court for the arrests involving charges of controlled substance, possession of drug paraphernalia, and a few other counts classified as drugs general category for resale. Carino was set to begin training at the New Japan Pro Wrestling Dojo next month, and his friends have launched a GoFundMe page with the goal of covering treatment costs. So I believe that's at GoFundMe.com/DucksFlyForColby. As the other members of the Ugly Ducklings kind of putting that together. We saw them not too long ago here at the MFPW, so I was going to say, crossing my fingers that all goes well for him here.
And they had a great match with Primal Fear at Turkey Slam.
They did.
I've known Colby for several years. I met him back in 2014 when he was wrestling as, I believe, American Tiger 4.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's going way back.
That is going back quite a ways.
But, he's been a good person. He's always been very nice to me, always been a very hard worker, very athletic, very talented. He was involved with that storyline with the Decade in Ring of Honor. Recently, he was in this year's Top Prospect tournament. And again, the New Japan deal. Certainly the future is very bright for Colby. So hopefully he can,
kind of
move through this and put it behind him. And the other thing is he's very young, and everyone does stupid things on some scale or other when they're young. And unfortunately, he found himself in a bad situation.
True. Long-time listeners of this show know some of these stupid antics that Lucas has done over the show. So that's, yeah. So I know I'm sure he's going to give me some sort of textual hell for that in a moment. But got just enough time to mention that the changes and improvements keep coming to the Broken Goblet Brewery at 1500 Grundy's Lane in Bristol, PA, including their new hours, open Wednesdays and Thursdays from 5 to 11, Fridays from 3 to midnight, Saturdays from noon to midnight, and Sundays from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. Today is a frickin' awesome Saturday, as at 4 o'clock, the boys at B-Gob will be tapping a Tropical Fruit Impact IPA to help keep the cold weather from getting you down. Plus, you've heard me talk in the past about being part of the Irregulars membership club and all the perks associated with it. Well, now's your chance to sign up for 2017. Check out the Broken Goblet Brewing Facebook page for the link, or sign up in person at the brewery. There's a max of 300 members, so sign up today and make sure to pick up a glass of Santa's Saison, a Saison beer brewed with blood orange, dates, plum, and spruce spices. Oh, it's delicious. It's always a good time at the Broken Goblet Brewery, 1500 Grundy's Lane in Bristol, PA. Broken Goblet Brewing, the semi-official brewery of Pro Wrestling Weekly. So with that, I was going to say we only have maybe about a little more than 2 minutes left here, and that's usually the time of the show. Where's Lucas when I need him for birthdays?
Oh, can I plug something real quick?
Go ahead and I'm sorry, but since we're kind of wrapping, go ahead and
you mentioned Bristol, Ring of Honor recently had tapings this past weekend for their revival of the Future of Honor brand. Both myself and the MFPW's own Clutch Adams had matches. They will be up on YouTube in the coming weeks as part of the Future of Honor Fridays feature. So when those drop, make sure to check those out.
The Future of Honor Fridays feature, or Future of Honor Friday feature, or something like that. That's a lot of Fs.
Future of Honor Fridays. They're looking to bring back that brand under the Ring of Honor umbrella, similar to how they have Women of Honor. And on that note, I also want to thank Danny Cage and the Monster Factory, because without them, my participation in that event would not have happened, plain and simple.
So there we go. Plunkett the Ogre. You can get a chance to look at him yourself on YouTube, courtesy of Ring of Honor with the Future of Honor Fridays, as well as Clutch Adams here at the MFPW as well. So those will both certainly be a lot of fun. But Plunkett, want to thank you for chiming in. I was going to say, bear with me for... Oh, wow, we're down to a minute. All right, quick on the birthdays. On this date in 1975, Stephen James Bisson was born. The WWE developmental wrestler, best known as Steve Bradley, passed away in 2008 at the age of 32 from an unknown cause. On this date in 1979, Matthew James Bentley was born, the former TNA X Division champion, known both as Michael Shane due to his relation to cousin Shawn Michaels, and Maverick Matt Bentley turns 37 today. And on this date in 1984, Jason Anthony Paul was born, the former WWE tag team competitor, best known as one half of the tag team Crime Time. JTG, Mr. Damn Why'd I Pick Up My Phone, turns 32 today. And finally, the Brucey bonus, something outside of the world of wrestling, but some other sort of celebrity notability. On this date in 1964, Robert William Flay was born. The celebrity chef, restaurateur, and reality television personality best known as Bobby Flay turns 52 today. So thanks to you, Plunkett, for chiming in here. Thanks to Rocco, who was with us in the second segment. Thank you to Ted Efaw, who is keeping us on the air here back at the WBCB studios. He's got Country Roads up next here on 1490 WBCB. And next week should be back in studio. And until then, play us out, Nutsy.
1 o'clock and all's well.
Serving you better than ever before. This is 1490 WBCB Levittown.